welcome back to the Jac and Glen channel. I'm Jackie.
I'm her husband, Glenn.
He's my husband, Glenn.
Before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of our reviews. And
if you like listening to audiobooks, click the link in the description for a free 30-day trial with Audible. And don't forget about the Rakuten link so you can get a $10 credit while you're shopping online.
Well, let's get ready. Married at First Sight. We finished the month anniversary last week, and now we're moving on to the last 4 weeks of the couple's relationships. And we still have some fireworks, still got some arguments, still got some people who are not getting along. Let's get to it. Let's jump. Let's dive in.
Well, we'll talk about the ones that don't have any issues for this episode.
For this episode.
They have run into some bumps before, but let's talk about Brianna and Vincent. So we open with them talking, and they're talking about their month anniversary plans, the outing that they had, and Brianna's giving Vincent kudos. Like, you know, you hooked it up, bro. Was it a lot, you know, putting that together and plans? He said it was a lot of calls he had to make and arrangements that he had to do or whatever.
He had to call the chef. He had to call all kind of people, and he arranged some things. And everything was going smooth. Now, this is where I don't, you know, everything was going good. Vincent made like a little joke. I don't know if he was serious or he really meant what he said.
Well, because before that, he said he had a lot of fun doing the outing and planning it.
Yes, he did.
Okay. And so, let me say this.
Go ahead.
They talked about what their favorite parts were.
Yeah.
And they talked about the fact that Brianna said her favorite part was watching the video and seeing his reaction when she came down the aisle. They laughed about the fact that she was like, "Oh, my dress has pockets. Look, it has pockets."
Yeah, he was like, "Oh,
they got a good little chuckle out of that. And so Vincent says what?
Vincent said, "When am I gonna get a boat ride? I ain't going no boat. When you gonna do something for me? When you gonna do something for me?"
And so she said, "Well, I had a dream that we rode in a boat, and you know you were in it." He was like, "But that was your dream. I wasn't in your dream.
Look,
I didn't experience your dream."
I don't think he was. Look, he might have been semi-playing, but I think he was serious. It's like, okay, I did all this for you. What am I gonna get?
Yeah, because then he goes on to the fact that, you know, I like to have more dates or more outings in some places that I'd like to go. And he gives a laundry list. He says, "I want to go to Disney World. I want to go to a cigar bar. I want to ride ATVs. I like to go to a massage. I want to go to a zoo. Can we go to a sporting event? You know, when things open back up. I want to go to a virtual gaming place. I want to go to an aquarium." And she's like, "Hold on. That's a whole lot of stuff that you want to do."
I'm going to have to get another job.
She's going to have to get another job. Who you think is going to fund it? And he says, "Oh, my sugar mama's going to fund it." They laughed about that.
They laughed about it, but look, to me, his list seems like he a tourist. There's been some rumors. I haven't verified yet, but I've seen some things that Vincent has not been in the United States for long. Based off his list, it seems like he hasn't been in the United States for long. It seemed like there's some things that he had, unless he was playing, going to the zoo, going to the aquarium. You live in Georgia. You have one of the best aquariums that there. You live in Atlanta. One of the best aquariums in the United States is right there in downtown Atlanta.
Well, I guess for some people, like, all right, unless you take the time to go to these places, it's a lot of people that live in cities and states that got these places, and they just don't go. Maybe some people think the zoo is for kids, so they don't go to the zoo. Maybe the aquarium might be for kids. I don't know. We went to the aquarium in Georgia, but we had kids. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if we went in Maryland.
I mean, I can understand that. I understand it living in the city. When I lived in Baltimore, I lived right behind the zoo and never went.
there you go.
No, I never went. Lived right behind the zoo and never went. But I understand. But I've been to a zoo before. His thing was I want to do things that I've never done or he hasn't done. And I understand Disney World. Everybody hasn't gone to Disney World.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I definitely understand that. But to me, it seemed like a lot of the things he named were tourist things more so than dates. Now, they could be dates. You know, he said he wanted to go, snowboarding.
Uh-huh.
That's something, that's different. I understand that. So, to me, his list was like, dang, dog, you ain't really do nothing in your life. Like, it really goes to what I saw. I don't know if it's true or not. It goes to what the rumor I saw online that he's only been here for 5 years in the States, which explains a lot of things on his list that he hasn't been able to do prior to, most kids been to the zoo. So I'm just saying, most things.
Most of them.
Most things. His list was just, to me, was like, God,
it was a whole lot of stuff.
It was like a list that, some of these things you should have already done in life.
Yeah, it was a whole lot of stuff. But anyway, so she was like, they joked about who's going to fund it and where's my trip going to be. And he said, your trip going to be to HOME. Not home.
The home.
Not home. Oh, so you done planning stuff for me? Is that what it is? Okay.
I like that joke. I like that banter. I like how, they're laying in bed on I guess it's a weekend morning, neither one of them are working, and they just sitting there have a conversation. I think that is fun. That's how you build relationships. That's how I enjoy each other. You're sitting there and you're just having conversation and you're playing around and joking, and no one's getting mad. So, his sarcasm, if he was being sarcastic about, the boat thing, she got it.
Yeah.
All right. So my thing is, I want to see if she can really be sarcastic with him, and he get it without being Vinny, as they call him. Vinny.
Well, yeah, getting in his feelings.
Getting in his feelings.
Yeah.
So if he can give the sarcasm, I want to see him be able to take the sarcasm later on from her when she gives it, because she is going to give it. And she mentioned, if you don't watch Unfiltered, she mentioned on Unfiltered a couple of weeks ago that she is trying to tone herself down when talking to Vincent, and trying to bring some things in so they can have peaceful conversations. So we'll see how that works out later.
Yeah. Later we see them go bike riding together. Previous episode he bought her the cruiser, the bike. He likes to bike, and so she's trying to do some things that he likes. And they decide they want to race. Yeah. And so what's up for grabs for whoever wins the race? And so Brianna says, well, I think if I win, I should get $500. And he was like, what? 500? I was thinking 1,000. I was going to say 1,000. Ha ha. They both joke. Here we go again with the jokes. They both joke about that. But he said he was just kidding. So the actual prize is, if she wins, he has to clean the kitchen for a week. And if he wins,
she gets 20 push-ups.
They bargained. He said 20 push-ups. She said 10. They settled on 15.
They settled on 15.
And in the end, she asked for a head start. So, of course, she won. He let her win.
He's a good dude.
He let her win.
He's competitive. I'm competitive. I don't know if I'd let you win, though. I ain't going to sit here and lie. I don't think I would let you win. That's just because... I know. Some of y'all I know. I'm a bad husband. I know. I'm sorry. I'm just competitive. Wow. But you win, a win's a win. But nah, the funny thing was on her, she still had the bow on her bicycle. Is that wrong? For not letting your spouse win in a competition? I'm sorry. Is it wrong?
Yes.
I've been competitive all my life and everything.
You should let your wife win something.
Y'all
let her have a victory.
You have many victories. But anyway, let me know. Is that wrong to not let the spouse? And I understand it was being a good gesture. He could have easy way. He said he enjoyed cleaning the kitchen anyway, and she was still good, and she returned the favor, and she did the 15 push-ups.
No, she did 5.
She did 5. He negotiated again and brought the 5 down.
Well, no, she said even though I won, I'll still do my part and I'll do the push-ups. But I wouldn't have did it on the street, right? She did it on the street. And he was like, okay, you only have to do 5.
He was nice enough to let her go 5.
Yeah.
I'm about to say something else.
Based on what husband said, I would have still had to do 15.
She probably still would have had to do 15. I can say him lie.
and that's when the fight would have started. It wouldn't
have been no fight.
That's when the fight would have started.
I would have did 15 with her.
No, because I'm not doing 15 push-ups. But anyway, then the last thing we see with Brianna and Vincent, well, just them together, is them putting the shower head together and just doing some, taking some teamwork. They didn't have any plumber's tape, but they still put it up.
I want to get on the plumber's tape because that was so husband and wife situation. She's reading the instructions. He's putting it up, and he was like, don't you need plumber's tape? And as most men, no, I don't need that. Let me go ahead and put it up there.
Yeah, until that thing started leaking.
I don't need that. And he cut it on, and it worked. So it's just like... This time. But you see that they're getting comfortable with each other, doing what husband and wives do. They're doing things together. And I think that's the key. They're doing things together. And the argument didn't break out. There's sometimes, you see on the Huxtables with Cliff and Claire. Huxtable, that when Cliff try to fix the doorbell or fix different things on different shows, that it always break out argument when the husband's trying to fix something. But it's great that they was able to work on a project together, and we've seen them come a long way in these last 5 weeks. Now, I do believe that Vincent will have another moment and before the season is over, but at this point, it's good to see them working together and building a good relationship and understanding one another. So it's great to see Vincent and Brianna doing good things.
Yeah. All right, so let's get to the disaster. Not the biggest disaster, but it's a mess, but it's been a mess.
It's
so
always
we're going to
a mess.
talk about Chris and Paige.
Yeah.
All right. And so finally, we get to see Paige interacting with her family.
She has family.
And we see Chris interacting with his. But we've seen him interact with people. But finally, we get to see Paige's family. Her brother and her sister-in-law come over to eat. And she was like, she hasn't kept them in a loop with everything. So that leads us to believe that she has talked to them, but not about everything.
She has no support system. I'm gonna call her. Her support system is.
I think the conclusion we've come to is not that she doesn't have a support system. Apparently, she was embarrassed, which she should have been, and so she didn't tell them all the ins and outs. She gets into that.
You'd be embarrassed too.
That's what I said. Rightfully so.
Rightfully so. You keep being a knucklehead and keep not trying to fix it. Try to keep fixing something that doesn't want to be fixed. It's not like he says, I'm attracted to you. Again, he told you I don't like you. And how many ways can he say it? I don't like you. I'm not attracted to you. I don't want to be with you. I think this is over. He said it every which way, and she still try. You can't make nobody who don't love you love you.
Well, especially when we're talking about, this is somebody you just met. This is your stranger spouse, as they like to call them. This is your stranger spouse.
No.
You didn't know him before. You don't have to know him after. You've given that dude too much leeway for somebody you just met.
Her name should be Grace because she's dealing a lot of it out. She's giving a lot. And I understand Grace. I understand grace and mercy. Trust me. I really do. But she's giving him a lot of grace.
But you can give somebody grace and not
be a fool.
Put up with the foolishness.
Yeah, she put in, but she's not putting up with it anymore. So
no. So, yeah, we see Paige talk to her brother and her sister-in-law, and she says, it's going to be painful having to tell them, what's going on, but she was like, I got to do it. So, she tells them that, at first they did the reset.
Yeah. He
wanted to, reconcile, but with the baby mama stuff and everything, that he decided he wants to get a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
And brother and sister-in-law like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brother was too chill for me. I mean, I know not his marriage and that's his sense. He was too chill for me. I mean, they didn't show like him saying, "What, for real?" That blah blah blah.
I don't think he was. I think he was chill because the way she told them. Okay. Because she didn't get all down and dirty with it. She didn't. I think if she had laid it out, like I would have. And let me tell you, he said, all that. He'd have been like, man, where this dude at?
Now, I don't expect a grown man. I'm not expecting him to fight.
No. But I would expect, if she had told it right, he would have definitely wanted to have a conversation with Chris.
Yeah, Chris ain't having a conversation with him. I mean, if
he would have wanted to.
He would have wanted to, but I'm saying Chris wouldn't have a conversation with him. I don't think he'd do other alpha males well.
I don't know that her brother's an alpha male.
I don't know. I don't think he do males. I mean, look what happens when he get around other dudes. It's just that we've seen on the show, and I don't know Chris. He shuts down.
Yeah.
He's not a confrontational type person.
No, she said.
Unless it's on Twitter or Instagram.
Yeah, she said in the whole interacting, reaction, she's felt rejected, and in her expressing that to him, he tried to flip it and said that he feels rejected, and how he didn't answer her phone calls, and she was like, well, you could have dropped by and given me a note, or you could have sent me a text checking on me, and I was like, why would he? He told you he's not interested, he's not feeling you. Yeah, we said we're going to do a reset, but that was a bunch of BS. Let's be real.
And he told you don't text. I mean, what if y'all hitting a reset and y'all just want to be friends? It's cool to be friends. It's keep it cordial. Y'all wasn't resetting. There wasn't resetting to be married.
Right.
There was resetting to be just friends. Again, he never moved into the apartment. He never really spent time over there. You're not married people stay together. Mm-hmm. Married people live. If we're gonna work on this thing or hit a reset, we're gonna be in the same roof. Even Matt came home. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I just understand if you're gonna reset it in the same building. Don't reset it because you're across town. I don't know what you're doing. The 20, whatever hours of the day that we're not filming. I don't know what you're doing. We're not together. So again, the reset was more of a reset to be friends, more so than a reset to be husband and wife.
Well, she did say that, but at the same time, again, if we resetting to be friends, you still could call and check on your friend and see how I'm doing if you say you're trying to be my friend, which I'll give that to her. But I don't know, my thing about it is Paige, it's Chris's way or the highway. So what you're expecting him to do, just like when they sat down with Dr. Viv, she was like, I like at least a phone call. He's not trying to do what she wants him to do. He wants to do it his way.
But he gave her some phone calls and she didn't answer. At this point, I think she was just tired and fed up. Like, you know what, I'm not going to respond to him anymore.
Well, and the other thing is, she was like, I was busy. I was doing something, but she could have called him back. Anyway, it's a whole bunch of BS on both sides. It's foolishness. Yes. And the brother was just like, well, at least you tried. You put your best foot forward. It might have been a failing try, but, or you went for a Hail Mary and you missed. It is what it is.
Yeah. He was pretty chill.
She said I feel like I got the short end of the stick. Again, she said she felt devalued. The part that I was like, good Lord, Paige, oh my gosh, I feel like I lost myself in this process. I realized you have to choose yourself first. Honey, we talking about 20-some days in.
Now?
No, but you did all this in 20-some days in for a stranger spouse? Honey, God knows what happened in her other relationships. Good gosh, that she was in for longer.
But look, we don't know the verbal, maybe the mental string abuse that she might have gone through in those 20-some days. All the wanting this to work. This is her last shot. My biological clock is ticking. I mean, all that stuff that she has put on, the pressure she put on this to make this successful. How, not only the pressure she's going to, what am I going to look like on TV? Which we're talking about now. And God knows we done put Paige through a lot. She has put herself through a lot. Devaluing herself, that's on her. She and I say on her
that's
because
what I'm saying.
You devalue yourself because you didn't set a standard.
That's what I'm saying.
And it doesn't set a standard. I tell them, and I say this and I use this when I'm dealing with my daughters. Everything has an instruction manual, right? Everything tells you how to take care of it. From day one, I don't care if you buy a car, you buy a video game system, you go to a fine jewelry store and buy buy a ring. If you buy a brand new pair of tennis shoes, everything has a manual how to take care of that to keep the value up. Guess what? Paige never told Chris how to take care of her and how to keep him to that standard. And because she didn't hold that standard and she didn't say, I'm not doing with foolishness, I'm not going to deal with this, that, and the other and hold the standard, her value came down because she allowed him to abuse her. And I'm not talking about physically, but mentally, emotionally, and all those. She allowed that to happen because she never put her foot down and said, I'm not taking no more. From day one, if she would have said, you know what, I'm much more than a big booty. This is how I want to be treated in this marriage. If she would have said in Vegas, because that was one of his complaints, you didn't say anything. Well, this is how we're gonna handle it. This is how I want to handle the Mercedes situation. If you want to be with me, be with me. I'll let you talk to Mercedes, but this is how we want to handle the situation. She could have ran all that stuff down, so she wouldn't have been devalued.
Yeah, she could have, but let's be real. From the jump, I guess she felt like she didn't have no place to say that either, because he said, I'm not attracted to you. I ain't feeling it.
But she kept giving him the booty for 8 days. So if you have enough sense to give him the butt, and you should have enough sense to have.
You don't need no sense to give nobody a butt.
But you have enough. You got to say so in this relationship, in this marriage, or whatever you want to call it. You can't be silent. And when you silent, you allow people to do whatever they want to do to you, and then you devalue yourself. She has to realize and understand that she does have a voice, and that she did have a voice, and some of her devaluing is because she allowed it to happen to her on a continuous and regular basis, and she kept falling for the okie doke.
Because I believe this wasn't the first time.
Oh, it's not the first relationship she's been in that she's fell for the okie doke. I'm sure.
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying. If you falling for it 20-some days in for a stranger spouse, I'm sure she's got run over in other relationships.
Oh, that's why she's on Married at First Sight, because other relationships didn't work out.
Run over. So the only other thing I'm going to say about Paige is, she said she went into it with the purest intentions.
I totally agree with that.
She kind of touched on here, she did too when she was chatting with the girls, that, I was more in love with the thought of marriage than actual the marriage itself, the work, and what it has to take, and being myself in it. And her brother was like, you just have to embrace the fact that, embrace the struggle and take this as a learning point. Learn your lesson and go forward, because, God has to have something better for you. And, he said, the one thing that Paige said that I was like, right, but part of this is your fault, honey. She said, he tried to leave me broken, but it didn't happen.
Right, she's not broken. If you look at Paige now, if you see the unfiltered things, she's gotten herself in shape. She's gotten some arms. Looks like she's been working out. Like she's been doing the things, like she's gotten herself together. And I think the sad part for this is for her, this has been over for months, and now she has to relive it over again until we get to reunion day, where she can just let it go. And so she's reliving this every week and sometimes every day of the week. But if she's a person that watches that's on social media, that looking at this, and I think that was hurt now, or having to deal with it, she has to relive it over and over again. My thing with Paige is that, hopefully she gets some therapy after this. Oh, that's what she said.
Yeah, she talked about that when she was she was talking with the girls. She actually already has 2 therapists.
So she has 2 therapists.
She must don't talk to them neither.
They should be fired.
She must not talk to them.
She needs to find new therapists. When they're not doing their job, you need to leave.
Yeah.
But because again, she's getting some help, but she needs to find some people that take the help that's being offered and become better than what she is. And again, my biggest thing with her is she never had a voice. She didn't really give it to Chris like she gave it to the production people. I'm not saying you got to cuss and fuss, and we didn't see her give it to Chris like that, but she needed to stand up for herself. And I think in doing this whole process, Paige never stood up for herself. She never stood up for herself when the girls were talking to her in Vegas and Chris got mad, and she never said anything. She went to back Chris down. She didn't say, you know what, Chris, I'm talking to the girls, let me be. She didn't do anything. You didn't see her stand up. And that was one of my biggest issues, or my issues with this situation, is stand up for yourself. Have a voice. Be concerned about you. And now I'm glad she realized it's about her. Take care of herself and try to move on.
Yeah. So then we see Chris also get a visit from his family member, his mom, Cindy, who is so very active on Twitter.
Very active on Twitter.
Defending her lame-o son. She comes to visit, and he said he's, glad to see his mom. She usually gives really good advice. And so she was like, how you doing, son? And he was like, I'm not doing good. She says, how's Paige? And he was like, Chris with that smirk and that funky laugh. I don't know.
But wouldn't that be a red flag if your mama come visit and your wife don't show up?
Apparently they already knew that. She didn't look like she was surprised.
She looked like she's surprised. I'm just sorry. If your mama come visit, and I know we've been married for a minute, we at least gonna be together for a minute, even if I have something to do. I'm gonna greet her, say how you doing, blah 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 blah, and just roll out.
It was no surprise to her. She didn't expect to see Paige there.
Nah.
But she was surprised that he hadn't talked to her. He said, we don't talk. She doesn't call him. She doesn't answer his calls. They don't have any communication outside of the camera. That's what he told his mom.
But see, he is playing the victim role. All right?
Yeah.
Because if you're a man and you want to have communication with your wife, a person that you really care about, you have communication with them. And I'm not telling him to pull an Erik that she's gone for 30 minutes and I need you to be there. But if you're a guy and you're really involved and really love your wife, you'll find a way to have that communication. You'll find a way to make sure you know where she live at. Go knock on the door. You know what I'm saying? But again, if you really want to make an effort and make this thing work, you'll find a way to do it. He really doesn't want to do that.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Again, we're dealing with a double-minded man, unstable in all his ways. So he complains about the fact that we don't have any communication outside of camera. Yeah. She doesn't call me. I don't call, she doesn't take my calls. But then he says later to his mom, you know how I am. If I'm not interested in something, I'm not giving it my effort. So which one do you want?
Right.
Which one do you want? She's not answering your calls because she knows you're not interested and it's worthless. So what am I calling you for? What am I going to answer your call for? I'm not doing that.
And she's figured that out. Now, I give Paige credit. She figured that out in 20-some days. That when he's not interested in something, he don't want to do something, he's not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And his mama knows that too because, again...
She said so.
But I blame the mama. A kid, he didn't just become this way when he's 20-some years old. He became this way because when mama and daddy was raising him, they allowed this to happen. Now, I know his parents are not together, and that's not none of my, whatever. But they allowed this to happen. He is what he is because of the way they raised him.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. Send me bad hate mail or Twitter.
I don't know. But all in all, his mom was like, she's not taking your phone call. She's not calling you. She said, rightfully so. You got a baby on the way with somebody else. And,
that's the only good thing Mom said.
Yeah, well, she said something else, too. He was like, he hated that this happened during the process. Or else, he said, if he wouldn't have got married, if this had happened before, he said, I wouldn't have got married. He says Paige was disappointed that she wanted to try, and then he breaks it to her. He was like, I think the chapter's closing tells his mom, I'm getting a divorce. And she's like, wow, okay. She's sad, but she's not shocked considering everything that's going on. Good for you, Mom. And your son.
Your son. And plus, she's divorced. She'll say, if it ain't working, it ain't working. I hit the reset. Move on.
He said he wasn't interested. He didn't feel like playing house.
Don't force somebody to be in a relationship they don't want to be in.
He said, I'm not going to be sad about having a baby. And you shouldn't be. But you should be sad that from that point forward, all the foolishness that took place after that. You should be sad about that. It's foolish. I'm
going to say this, and I want you guys to really leave a comment here and talk about it. I believe if this baby thing would have never came up, Chris and Paige will be a good relationship. Mm-hmm. I think the baby thing coming up and the timing that it comes. Matter of fact, I'll go this way. If the baby thing had never came up over the honeymoon, I think Chris and Paige would have been able to make it. Because
if he had grown attracted to her,
even without the attraction, he would have found something that he was attracted to with her. He would have found something. There's not going to be a Haley and Jacob situation where she doesn't find nothing. He would have found something, whether it was her spirituality, whether it was her money, whatever it was, he would have found something. I just think with the baby situation he's trying to be an honorable man. I tried, and he said it, and I only can go by his words. And y'all be like, I'm waving on Chris, but I only can go by what he said. Chris said that he doesn't want to raise his child without him being involved, being with the mother. So again, that weighed on his mind, and he was like, you know what? I need to go back to Mercedes because this is who I want. This is the mother of my child. If you look at everything, his evidence, if you look at everything that he has done since being married to Paige, it was to make sure that Mercedes is taken care of, so the child will be taken care of. From the Mercedes car that he purchased her, to making sure she drives again, to seeing her and spending more time with her, but not living with Paige, acting like their relationship is not, their marriage is dissolved, by even bringing Mercedes to Paige to have a conversation. He's tried to smooth everything out to show Mercedes that I am with you. And I want to raise this child with you and not with her. And I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying this is what his actions have showed throughout the show. And that's where Chris is at. And if the baby situation had never came up, I think Chris and Paige would have been okay. And
he gets on my nerves.
I'm not saying it doesn't get on my nerves, but I think the baby thing
no,
really
I'm not
was
saying
a big.
That you're saying,
the baby thing was a big factor.
He just irritates me. He's childish. He's manipulative. He needs to grow up. And his mom needs to push him to grow up.
She can't. He's grown. That ship has sailed.
No, she gives good advice. This the advice you should be giving.
Grow up. A lot of people get good advice and don't mean grown kids or grown people take that advice. Because I'm sure he's talking to his grandma. And his grandmother, who he talks to, he loves and he cares, has
whipped him with a switch out the yard.
Has given him some good advice too. And so he has, again, he's doing what he believes is best for Chris. And I can't knock that. He thinks that's what's best for Chris.
On to the next train wreck. But not the worst. Haley and Jacob.
Yeah.
All right. So they talk about their month anniversary and they talk about the fight that they had. That ruined everything that really Jacob started. In which he basically was like, it was a culmination. I had been feeling this way and wanted to talk about it. It had been building up. So he talked about it then. and he said he did apologize for the way he acted. You know what he said and everything, how the fight went about. She said, she was drained and she was exhausted, and how the fight escalated is what bothered her, and rightfully so. We was having a good time, and you just ruined the whole moment, bro.
It's the moment, and to me, I don't have a problem with what he said. I don't have a problem with how he's feeling. I just have a problem with the timing that the places that he put this in.
Yeah.
And I'm leaning to the side. Is Jacob doing the placement of these conversations and arguments for the camera?
Mm.
Because he very rarely could have had this conversation when it was off camera.
Mm-hmm.
He could have dealt with this when they was going to wherever they was going to for their month anniversary. Why deal with it when the lights are on and production are there? He could have dealt with. I go back to Karen and Miles. A lot of Karen and Miles issues that they dealt with late at night when the cameras were gone.
I'm thinking obviously they probably don't be talking.
Yeah, because he sleeps in the guest room, and they probably.
Well, they're back they're supposed to still be in the bed together now.
But he said he took the supplements when she started cleaning the cabinet, and he took those and put them in the guest room. So I'm just assuming he put the supplements where he's staying at.
Yeah, before.
Yeah.
Before. But anyway, and so she, sarcastic was like, well, are you planning on having any more fights? And he was like, no, I'm not planning on it. But she said she wants to keep everything real light and fun and go out and, he made suggestions of, how about we have 1 hour of calm every day, calm conversation every day. Let's do that. Just trying to both of them trying to make some kind of concessions. And so for the light, fun thing, they go karting.
Yeah.
Speed racing.
Haley's trying.
But not trying. She's trying, but not trying. And so they have a nice little race, competition there. He says, I'm going to beat you. And she was like, yeah, I'm going to beat you. Let's see who comes out on top. She's almost a little bit of a sore winner. She rubs it in his face.
Hold up, let's go vice versa. Should she have let Jacob win? Because...
Should she have let Jacob win?
If a guy has...
only reason she did win is because he spun out.
But he was ahead. He was trying to win. Again, the competitive nature of people who trying to win. I'm just saying.
Brianna and Vincent is something totally different. Their relationship is different from Haley and Jacob.
But Haley was driving that car like.
Lord, and he probably would. He still. I believe he would have. But he would have let her win. I think he would have, because he's trying to get in her good graces. He's trying to make it light and fun. Trying to avoid an argument. Let her win. Because if I win, then I'm gonna be mad.
Why should it be an argument if it's a competition and the person wins? Why should it be an argument?
Because that's the nature of their relationship. So he's trying to keep it light and fun. So I'll let you have this. I'll let you win. Go ahead.
And she beats him in. She is kind of a sore loser. Winner. Yeah.
Oh, you see my trophy? Oh yeah, I'll go stand on the stand and take a picture with the number one. He took it in stride, which I don't know if she would have. That's what I'm saying. Anyway. But so they have a good time, doing the go-karts, and he suggests maybe next time we'll go to the back cages. So, they're trying to put in the work to get to know each other and do some things that won't rub each other the wrong way.
Too little, too late, for my opinion. I think they're trying, and I think they're getting there. But again, I think, how many resets do they have to do? They have to keep really.
Yeah, they keep getting resets.
It's too many resets. That button is worn out.
Mm-hmm. So later we see them cooking dinner together. He's got a plate full of steak. But she makes some special Brussels sprouts. Says you'll like my Brussels sprouts. They talk about, are you a good cook? She says I'm a good solid 7 or 8. And he was like, well, do you wear an apron when you cook? If you put an apron on, if you're a serious cook, you put an apron on, and you could be a 9.5.
Again, I can't get past this. It's 24 days in. This is what you should have been doing when they got off of Vegas. Mm-hmm. It's like when she got back from Vegas, even though they had that argument, they took the argument in Vegas on the airplane to the house, to the apartment, and they never fixed it. Like, she never fixed dinner before. She never cooked for him. What have they done for the last 20-some days outside of Vegas, the last 17 days?
I still say same thing with Chris and Paige, same thing with them. They got off on the wrong foot
And never got
back on. Like we've said it before, Chris and Paige and Haley and Jacob, they're like neck and neck. Mm-hmm. One is just worse than the other.
Yeah.
As far as, I'm going to say, attitude and treatment of each other. All in all, Haley and Jacob, they haven't been nasty to each other.
They have not.
What they've had to argue about, it hasn't been nasty. Chris and Paige, it's been nasty. Like, just, it's been ugly. Let me not say nasty. It's been ugly. Like, it's painful. Haley and Jacob are painful to watch too, but not as much as Crage and Piss. Chris and Paige. You know, it's pissy.
It's bad, but I like that they had dinner and they was able to sit down and have a conversation with each other.
Yeah.
And even though he's on this high protein diet.
Oh my gosh! And then he talked about the placemats. Do we have some placemats? She was like, "Why do you need a placemat?" And so he talks about somebody he dealt with some placemats, and he says, "You know what? Let's talk about your dating history, because I know about these bad relationships. Did you have any good ones? What about the last time you dated before Married at First Sight?" He said he dated somebody for about 3 weeks. He doesn't even remember her name. It wasn't going well. She was like, "Wow, you don't remember her name?" He was like, "No, it wasn't important." And he dated somebody, the Pumpkin Queen. And the Pumpkin Queen was the one person, I guess he said he broke up with the other people, but the Pumpkin Queen broke up with him.
Yeah. Again, conversations they should have had weeks ago.
I'm not having these conversations with you. I don't like you. I'm mad at you. Get on my nerves. Accuse me of having a boyfriend back home. I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, but again, they should, too little too late. Yeah. They should have been trying this. I just think right now that she is so far gone, or he is so far gone that there's nothing to bringing that back in. If it starts to come in, it's coming in slowly, and they're going to run out of time.
Yeah. The one thing, then they start talking about, when's the last concert you went to? She said it was Pearl Jam. He was like, I don't really like Pearl Jam. But that leads me to, they went on a trip, a little outing with Brianna and Vincent.
Yeah.
Jac and Haley did. And it goes to the conversation that Brianna and Vincent both had with Haley and Jacob. It's like, can y'all find some common ground? It's almost like with Haley and Jacob, if she says the sky's blue, he was like, well, no, not all the time. Mm-hmm. It's like they not agreeing on anything. They don't have nothing in common. And Brianna and Vincent just encourage them, find something you have in common.
Find something.
Brianna was like, well, Haley's like, he doesn't really talk that much. When I talked to him, they showed a scene where she was talking to him about a trip that she took and what she did, and he was like, she was just like, he don't.
If she talked to him about some computer stuff of the 80s, and the reason he don't like Pearl Jam, because they're a 90s band. They're not an 80s band. Pearl Jam is a 90s band, so.
But still, both of them have to give each other some leeway. Act like you're interested in what she's talking about, and same thing. They both have some give and take, and that's what Brianna and Vincent told them too. You gotta find some common ground.
There has to be something that they agree upon. Even the fact that they're both Caucasian. I'm not being funny. It's gotta be something. Whether it's the shirt.
We both have feet.
We got feet. We got hands. We both have hair. It's something. We both brush our teeth in the same bathroom. It gotta find something. I like meat. You like steak. I like steak too. What kind of beer you like to drink? Whatever the case may be, they gotta find something. Or do you like to go to the bar? Something to agree upon. They haven't found anything.
That's the one thing. That's the conversation they had too. He was like, I drink, but not that much. I don't really do the whiskey thing. Yeah. And she was like, yeah, but you drink so and so. He was like, yeah. He said it makes me puke. Oh, that's gross. It's the conversations are just. But Brianna shares, that she's excited. She was excited to see where Haley and Jacob were, and she sees that, at the month, y'all had an argument at the month anniversary. You're just not on the same page, and Haley says, I feel like our conversations are a one-way street. Yeah. And again, they showed the clip where she's talking. He don't ask any questions. He really doesn't seem like he's interested. And so Brianna's like, well, maybe if I had talked to him, you think, I could get some more from him. And so, she tries to spur along the conversation, not really doing a whole lot. They did the go-karts and how they hung out with her friends and they got hammered. They stayed up till 4 o'clock in the morning. Brianna says she thinks they need to work harder.
Yeah.
I can't really tell anybody that they can work. They can stand and work harder in their relationship, but she was like, they need to work harder. Vincent even tells Haley the same thing. Put forth more effort. Act like you're interested. Find something that y'all can get together on. You need to get more comfortable with each other. You know.
Well, it's politics and money. I don't know. It's just something.
Jake says he just don't want to have no more arguments. Well, the only way you ain't gonna have no more arguments is if you find some common ground.
No.
And you know
he's done. He's done. No arguments. He's shut down. He's like, I'm going. He told us last week, I'm just going through these 4 weeks. I'm done. He's done. He's just, you know what? I don't want to stress out anybody. I'm just go through these 4 weeks, and we're just gonna say no at decision day, and that's all. As long as she ain't the goofball to say yes.
Yeah. So let's go from there to since we talked about the double date Brianna, Vincent, and Haley and Jacob had. Then we also had a scene where all the girls except for what was Virginia, Paige, and Brianna. They sit and had a sit down talk, and Paige talks to them about how emotionally draining the process was for her. Again, she says, you know, I should have and could have walked away sooner.
Yeah.
Virginia says she had, you know, it was a sigh of relief hearing Paige see this and realize that, you know, that she's done and she's over the foolishness. You know, I think they both were like, whew. Brianna just kind of looked, because I think Brianna was more in on it than Virginia.
Yeah.
You know, she knew where Paige was, but I think we all kind of breathed a sigh of relief, like, okay, finally, Paige, you're getting it. It don't make no sense why it took you so long. But Brianna talks about how she had so many expectations of what marriage was supposed to be and who her husband would be.
Yeah.
And she didn't say that Vincent didn't meet that. She said she got what she didn't expect from Vincent. She didn't really know what to expect. She had some expectations, but, you know, she said...
And she's having fun.
Vinny's all that she needs. Mm-hmm. He's so sweet to her and everything, and Paige is like for real, 100% excited for Bree. And that's one thing I can say about Paige. Even though her relationship, her marriage, her process has been disastrous, she really has been happy for the other girls.
She's been supportive.
Yeah, she's been supportive, and she's been happy. Virginia talks to them about what's going on with her and Erik, her anxiety issues, and this is when they talk about the therapist. She talks about needing to see a therapist. She's been used to dealing with her problems and her anxiety on her own, and it's hard for her getting used to having somebody there trying to help her work through it. And you know, she's scared that it might be an issue that they can't work through.
Yeah. And
so we go from there to talk about Virginia and Erik.
Yeah. Oh boy,
it was
a mess.
A mess.
Hot mess.
Yeah, it was.
Hot drunk mess. Hot hangover mess. Because they went out. You know, we see Virginia and Erik in the bed, waking up, and we come to find out that they had went out the night before drinking, and Erik got hammered. This is from a guy who said he doesn't drink much. Right.
He's trying to hang with her.
He's trying to hang with her and trying to be with her. So he's trying to hang with her. So we see they hung out. Now, before we get to the part where they was in the bed, there was an argument at the bar that we come to find out about. Because Erik has been drunk and Virginia has been gone longer than 30 minutes. Virginia was gone longer than 30 minutes. You know, but then let's fast forward to them in the bed, which they're playing a game for the camera. They wake up, everything's hunky-dory, nice. She's having a good conversation with them. And then when it gets to the dog, she lets everything out.
Yeah.
So she's put... To me, when I look at that, you're all putting on for a camera because you basically kind of said it. You know, we try to make everything look like everything's going well. And now she like, you know, I'm opening a can of worms. Yeah,
it was because they were sitting there talking and chit-chatting or whatever. They talked about the flight that he took her on and how... he liked that she enjoyed it and wanted to do it again. And, you know, he says, you know, I think our foundation is solid and that's important to him. And so then they start talking about Rocky and how undisciplined Rocky is. And she's like, you know, we got the dogs and then I got my cats. I haven't seen about my cats. And you said you wanted kids, but we have 3 already. Ha, ha, ha. Don't do that, Virginia.
He didn't find that funny.
He wants real kids. and they talk about how their personalities are similar to the dogs, and then this when the fight started. So Erik starts talking about how respectful and well-mannered his dog Tex is, and how Rocky needs manners training, and I'm willing to take her. And he was like, you know, he's not your dog, he's just mine. And he's like, but we're married, so it's both our dog. You just said I wanted kids, so these are kids. I want to take them to training. And she was like, no, you always getting on Rocky. You don't treat Rocky right. And why are you doing this? And she hops up and she leaves out. And
Hold on.
This is when
I get confused. I like dogs. I like animals, y'all. I do. But when you start talking about the animal like it's a person, I have a problem.
But Pastor Cal talks about that when they go into the part where this is a season where all the women coming in have dogs, and they do a whole separate thing with the husband and the dog.
Because this is like...
It's like their kids. And if you can't get with their dogs, you're going to have a problem with the mama.
You have a problem with the mama. I just like, yo, boy. She to the point where she was like, I was depressed and Rocky got me out of my depression.
He knows this, and why would he talk about Rocky? And I you know, come to find out Rocky's only a year old. He's still a baby. So she really doesn't know how to train a dog. She just wanted to have the dog. The dog was a lifesaver.
She wanted companionship.
Yeah.
She wanted somebody who didn't, think about it. She wanted a person, or she wanted a thing that would not judge her. Mm-hmm. And that's Rocky. Mm-hmm. And so that's something she can take care of, something she can provide love to, and that will not back. It will not leave. It will not divorce her. It will not mess with her. It's therapeutic for her. Mm-hmm. She can talk to it, and she's something that she can take care of and have some success in her life. So when you start talking about this thing that has helped her get to the place where she's at, to comfort her, now she's on the defensive because Rocky, truth be told, she probably loved Rocky more than she loved Erik.
Oh, I'm sure she does, because she knew Rocky first.
She knew Rocky first. So Rocky is Rocky here, maybe the cats, and Erik is somewhere right here.
But she gets upset at this conversation, and she like leaves out. She's like, I'm done. I'm leaving, you know. And that's when we find out. She talks to the producers like, you know, they're making like everything's hunky-dory, and the dog thing is, no, it's not that. We just had this fight last night. We trying to play like we didn't have this fight, but we did.
Producers like, what? They didn't even know.
Yeah, the thing at the bar. And when she comes back in, we find out, like my husband was saying, that they went to the bar together, but at one point Erik couldn't find her for like 30-40 minutes. She said she was in a bathroom. Don't say. She said she was in a bathroom. My husband has a theory about why she's in the bathroom for so long, but we're not going to get into that because it's terrible. She might have met somebody at the bar, and that's why she was in the bathroom for 40 minutes, or else she's doing some other
recreational activities in the bathroom.
I don't know. I think she might have been in there having a panic attack. That's the only other thing I could see that would keep you in the bathroom for 30-40 minutes, if she was really in the bathroom for 30-40 minutes.
You know, she knows she can't do that. That's the thing. You know, she knows she can't do that with that dude.
But why would you? My thing is, yes, you can't, but why would you? I can't imagine me and you going somewhere and going out, and you don't see me for 30 minutes, and we came there together, and we're married. Like, what the freak are you doing for 30 minutes that I'm not around?
If I disappear for 40 minutes, all right, and with you like, hold on, you're ringing my phone up. And if I disappear 40 minutes with my teenage daughter, she thinks it's a Dateline story.
But that's what he said. You know, I tried to text you or call you, find you, and you didn't answer. Like, what the heck? I'm not mad at him.
If y'all want to know what my theory is, please ask me in the comments section.
I just told them what it was. Your theory was that she had a rendezvous with somebody else in the bathroom, and that's why she was gone, or else she was in some recreational stuff in the bathroom.
Illegal recreational stuff.
Yes.
Right,
I don't think so. But anyway, so his thing was, again, we back to this. He was like, I'm just trying to be protective of you. I wanted to know you were okay. Yeah. Again, rightfully so. We came together. Where the freak are you at for 30-40 minutes? And so she says, your protective comes off as controlling. We're on that word again. It comes off as controlling.
It does, because his face behind it was like, I told you. His face behind it looks like, you know what, he is a controlling dude.
Yeah.
His facial expression, like, if we wasn't on this show, I will share some things with you. I ain't say grab you up because I don't want to call nobody that. But me and you have some really conversation, deep conversation.
Yeah.
He looks very verbally abusive, and we see some of that.
Yeah. Later they talk about the fact that she went out with Rocky, and he talked about how Rocky's so undisciplined he can't go out without being on a leash like Tex. And so she rubs in his face. We went out for a walk, off the leash walk.
Lying.
And we came back.
Because you go back to the scene, when she walked out the door, Rocky had a leash on. Now,
maybe she took it off.
Maybe she took it off.
But she's like, it's like, I don't feel like pretending we're in a good place when we're not. It's like you get mad at me when you get drunk. The man told you he don't drink.
He don't drink.
He keep trying to hang with you, so...
Everything that's in him comes out when he gets that liquid courage.
Yeah, he gets back on this. You need to understand we're married, and, you got to act different when we're married. And, she was like, well, I think... I think, it comes off control, blah, blah. And he was like, well, I don't really give a F what you think. I was like, oh my gosh.
He said, dude, you don't care what I think? You don't care what I think?
But the cuss really took it off the top. I was like, really, Eric? When you say I don't give a F what you think?
And she was like, she was like,
I would have been too. I'd be like, what? Sir.
She said, you say you leave it one more time.
Yeah. Oh, don't. If you say you done, if you say it's done one more time. So instead, he finds a creative way to say it without saying I'm done. and then the other part is Eric sits there and he's like, he's shocked. I don't know what happened, bruh.
He makes, again, manipulation at its finest. There's a couple men on this show that's really good with manipulation. He is one of them, and I dare to say that he's better than Chris. And when it comes to manipulation,
because his thing is guilt tripping.
He guilt trips her because he knows about her abandonment. He knows about her trying to be left alone. He knows all her secrets and stories. So he guilt tripped her into doing what he wants her to do. And then he plays the victim role. Oh, you talking about me again? And when she starts getting points out,
I'm always the one that gets hurt.
I'm always the one that get hurt.
I don't know what I did wrong. What? Oh, now you mad again. And she's like, at this point, my anxiety is up. Like, bro, you raking me over the. Yeah, I feel like I'm failing. I'm completely failing.
Yeah.
And then she just spirals. I'm failing this marriage. I'm failing as a dog mom. I'm failing in my relationships. I don't know. I'm having a hard time at work. Everything just spirals.
Which to me explains why she drinks so much. Because she's trying to drown all her sorrows, escape into alcohol. She's using this as a way to escape reality.
Yeah.
And she used the dogs as a way to escape reality. She used the cats as a way to escape reality. As relationships, she's so much. Her anxiety is so high that she really needs some help.
It's bad, and she says, I feel like I'm changing everything. And he was like, well, you gotta understand when you're in a marriage, some things do have to change.
But
and she says, well, if you tell me to leave, if you tell me to leave one more time. And so he says, well, I'm gonna say it like this: you're not stuck in anything. You're free to do whatever you want to do. In other words, you can go.
You can bounce. I mean,
we can be done. It was just a mess. It just keeps going from there. Having an argument. I mean, we could spend a whole freaking
45 minutes.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. They finally talk. She's like, I have these anxiety issues, and everything's closing in me. It's really hard for me to deal. And he was like, well, I'm not exactly dealing with it that well either. It's a change. It's something out of the norm, but I am handling it a bit better than you. And she said, you think you're perfect. Basically. And you're this great dog trainer, and it's Tex versus Rocky, and it's you versus you and me, and instead of being we, and it's just bad. He said she's got this wall up, and she talks about Rocky. While they're trying to have a serious conversation, she gets distracted by Rocky trying to bury the bone in the floor. You can't bury a bone in the floor. And he was like, I need you to pay attention to what we're talking about. This is important. And, I think that's when she shut off. It's just, it's difficult how everything is at times. And, it was just a mess.
But she's telling him, this is where I'm read between the lines and follow me here. She's telling him why she don't want to have kids. Because she can't focus. Mm-hmm. She can't focus on him and the kid at the same time. Mm-hmm. He's jealous of the dog because she's giving the dog more attention to him, because he said it. She's like, it seemed like Rocky get more attention than me. Could you imagine if they had a kid? That kid gets more attention than him, but he wants a kid?
No, that would be his thing.
No.
But
he can't because he's gone 4 days out of the week. He's flying all over the place.
Well, he's the one that wants kids. I promise you, when he's there, then his focus would be all about being a daddy.
Then there'd be another argument because she's raising the kid one way when he's not there, and then another way because he's letting him or that child get away with stuff. So they're right now, for them to have kids, won't be good because you see how they treating the dog, because they treat how he treats the dog, how he's jealous of the dog.
Yeah, it's a mess. It just
jealous of the dog.
It got bad.
One more time. Jealous of the dog.
She started freaking out and wilding out. It always comes back to Rocky, and the producer gets involved. It's like, what's the problem? And he's trying to talk to her, and she walks off. It's just she just
done
up to here, and when it goes off the rails for her, it goes off the rails.
Told you, Rocky is here. Erik is here.
But besides that, even besides the dog thing, we see again, Virginia does not deal well with being anxious and stressful.
No,
she doesn't handle well
with conflict.
And her question was, I don't know why I'm so, why do I feel this way? And it was because, honey, this is a new experience. You've never been here before. There is a such thing as distress and eustress.
Mm-hmm.
What we always know as stress, most of the time we equate it with distress, which is bad, negative stress. But there's eustress as well, which could be a marriage could be a good thing. It's a good kind of stress, but it still puts stress on you. And so that's going to flare up the change and getting used to somebody. That's going to flare up your anxiety stuff. It's a good thing, but it's still...
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing with her is to change. She doesn't adjust well to change. She doesn't do well with change, and she's shaking the apple cart of her life. And so when it's shaking, she doesn't know, she can't anticipate the unknown, and so she's stressing over the unknown. Mm-hmm. She's worried about me moving in with this guy, if it's going to work out, not going to work out. I think a lot of that is because of what Erik says, that he's always willing to bounce. So if I get into this house with you and this home with you, and you bounce, I'm stuck. I can't afford this in that sense. When we get to this place, or we're going to have a place where I'm allowed to have my two cats and my dog, Rocky.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to have time to spend time with Rocky? Well, you want me to spend time with you. I can't spend time with Rocky, and Rocky needs my attention as well because she is 1 year old. So she has all this, and we're not even talking about what's going on at work.
Right.
So now she got all this. She is just stressful, and she doesn't know how to relieve it except for to hang out with her friends and to... And even when she does that, try to relax, that becomes an unrelaxing situation because he's stressing because she's sleeping on somebody else's couch, or she's drunk too much, he don't know how she's getting home, or she's taking too long in the bathroom.
Yeah, and then the last thing with them is later they have a conversation where they're in the kitchen cooking, kind of like at one point kind of like ignoring each other, but then they finally talk about it, and she expresses again, I have these anxiety issues. It's hard for me to deal. And really, basically what she said was, I feel bad because I'm not perfect and you come across as perfect. She says, I think if you really had an issue, you would never say anything. You always say you're fine. It's like, so I feel like I can't be real because I feel like you're not going to be real. And then when I am real, it's like I'm broken. There's something wrong with me and there's nothing wrong with you. So... she put in perspective, it's like, this is where I'm at. It's like, you come off glowing and I have all these issues. And, and he's not saying I don't have any issues, but he does come across like, almost give the I'm better than you type of thing. But,
he comes across again. I think it's better than you, but it's also I've been through more life experiences than you. I think this is the age situation. This is where the age comes in at, because there is an 8-year gap. Mm-hmm. I've been through more life than you have, so I know more. And so I've been through the mistakes that you're making, I've made. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to make those steps. And so she's looking at it like, oh, you don't do this, or you're good at two shoes. Come on, we've been through that. There's some things that I don't do, that I have never done. You know what I'm saying? And so, and when we got married, we're beginning like, oh, you think you're good at two shoes, or you don't do that? Again, no, I just haven't done those things. Or I've been through life, and I've learned those lessons early. How people have done a lot of things earlier in life. And as they get to a certain age, they don't do those things anymore. So I think that's where he's at. But he doesn't know how to express that to her without coming off as being controlling and aggressive and trying to conform her and try to change her. I think sometimes his narrative needs to change and how he says it. Because he says it mean, nasty, and degrading to her.
Really abrupt and
yeah.
and it's in a father-like tone. But you know, she expresses that again, she's had to deal with her issues by herself. It's hard getting used to having someone that's going to help her with it, and that he just restated to her that I got your back, I'm behind you, you don't have to worry about anything. And so they kind of get on the same page there. But anyway, they were disastrous this time. It was bad. So last but not least, let's talk about Clara and Ryan. We saw this on another show we watched.
Ready to Love. They
wanted to do some tantric yoga.
Yes.
Because she wants to try to get close and get some intimacy with Ryan. It backfired.
They should have did. Was Strong and Seductive? Was that workout couple video that you...
Seductive Strength or something?
Yeah, Seductive.
Ooh, the eye. What?
I'm talking about them.
Oh, I thought you said, what's that video, the eye? No, I don't know nothing about that.
Me neither. I just see the commercial all the time on the internet. It just pops up.
Anyway, so they do the tantric yoga. You know, she's sitting on his lap, you know, straddling him, and they got their faces against each other, breathing together, and you know, like trying to be connected.
The yoga instructor enjoyed it more than Ryan. And
Ryan was like, "Oh gosh, you know, my leg hurts, so it's going to sleep. Oh, this is uncomfortable. Can we change position? You know, oh, this is weird. You know, oh, my legs up in the air. All this, you know, I was just like, oh wow."
And Clara said it. I don't think this is working. She said, I don't think this.
She thought it was going to lead to something.
She said, I don't
say
think.
It like I want to. She thought it was going to lead to. It was going to get so hot in there. It was going to lead to some poking, and it did not work.
It didn't lead to any sex. It didn't lead to no sex, and so that's her biggest goal right now. She's still upset. She's sexually frustrated that she's not getting no sex. As I mentioned a few minutes ago, the yoga instructor enjoyed the positions and movement more than Ryan did. And Ryan said she think this is gonna move to sex. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, he was like, nah. You know, he laughs it off. She says it was fun doing it. You know, he was like, yeah. He wants to connect on a deeper level. He said this really didn't do it. It didn't change anything for him. She talks about how she's gonna be gone for some days, and so he wants to get used to Miska, and they want to go to a training thing together. Same thing with Ryan, but different. He's not doing it to try to fix Miska. He wants to connect with Miska because he knows Miska's going to be in the picture.
Again, it is the verbiage and terminology.
Absolutely.
Not that I want to work with Miska because we can get along. If Erik can say it that way, it might be something different. You know, there's nothing wrong with Rocky, but you know, I want to connect more with Rocky. Do you mind if I take him to this?
Yeah. And so when she comes back, he says, you know, how was the training? The training was good. I feel better dealing with Miska. Oh, I trust you to keep my dog. It's not really much that I wouldn't trust you with. She said, I can't really think of anything. And they had this whole conversation about trust. Oh, that's sexy. Trust is sexy. And apparently she got him a shirt that says trust is sexy.
Yes. Do
you feel like you're going to wear it? I haven't seen you wear it yet. And he was like, well, you know, when I wear it, then you know we there.
He wearing his Black Lives Matter shirt, though.
That's bullcrap. He ain't going to wear that shirt. You know, that was pretty much it with Clara and Ryan until we talk about the Trust is Sexy shirt. We're trying to get to the sex part. And we see her talking to... it looks like Haley, Paige, and Brianna.
And they're all in Haley's apartment.
Yeah, they're in Haley's apartment. I don't know where Jake is.
Jake is gone. He probably without the guys that night. I don't know. But we saw that, you know, the guys got together. They talked about the dogs. They talked about the training of the dogs. And Ryan gave, you know, some advice about how he connected with Miska and how he's doing in his relationship. Of course, we didn't see Chris there, but the guys have a decent conversation and they each talked about how they're moving in their relationship. They even gave Jacob some advice for his relationship. Ryan talks about, you know, how him and Claire are doing. And so then we see, so that means the girls are together and we see the girls at Haley's apartment.
And I want to say before that Ryan talks about their relationship. It's been tough, you know. Some things have been tough, you know. That lack of connection, but it's necessary for him. He says, you know, they're just going through the process. We've both been accommodated. that's when it goes into.
Accommodating each other.
He says we both been accommodating and making concessions to make sure we're both comfortable. And she rolls her eyes like, yeah, okay.
You ain't doing nothing.
You ain't been doing nothing. He says trust is earned with him through special considerations for each other. And like she's not feeling it. And when she talks to the girls, she says so. She's like, you know what? I feel like he's not getting it. I don't get it. I don't get what's going on with us. You know, they're committed to the fact that they're not having sex with anybody else, but at the same time, she's like, why we not doing it then? We're not having sex with nobody else, but we not doing it. And what is the problem? We're married. It feels good. That's what it's for.
Like it does feel good. It feels good.
That's what it's for. You know, why we can't do it? I don't know what he's waiting for. You know, he wants more of an emotional connection, considering he's never said I love you to anybody. Is he looking for both to happen at the same time? I don't think it's gonna happen. You know, I'm getting him off every night. We're doing sex things. I'm getting him off every night, and I think Brianna was like, you're not getting nothing in return. She's like, right.
Hold up, stop right there. So you can't breeze past that.
I'm not gonna breeze past it.
We're not breezing past that.
I'm not.
We're gonna put a pin in it, as they say in church. We're gonna stop right there, traffic light. Now, mind you, I blame Clara. If you giving this man whatever you giving him, whether it's fellatio, whether it's using your hand action, whatever it is, and you taking care of him every night, and he ain't taking care of you in some way, shape, form, or fashion, and you're sexually frustrated, I blame you. Because you have not yet.
I blame you.
Because you have not yet stopped taking care of him.
I blame you.
It's her. And I'm not saying that he shouldn't be giving it to her. I'm not saying they shouldn't have sex. What I'm saying is you
daggone right. I'll be darned. If I was Claire, I'd be darned. Bruh, I'm not gonna keep pleasuring you every night. I'm gonna get some pleasure out of something. Some doggone. I was hopeful that they was doing something for each other. But this says to me, this conversation says she doing all the pleasure of him, and he ain't doing nothing.
He doing nothing, dog. Nothing. Ryan should be ashamed of himself.
just like when they talked to Dr. Viv. Yeah, so it's getting hot and heavy. Like she is trying to work him up to the point where he's
already up.
He will give. No, he's trying to work her up to the point. You know what? He will. You know, give her some and. Now you know, Ryan, that is not fair.
That's not fair. That's not fair. But again, he's getting everything that he wants. Why penetration? Again, think about it. He's getting everything he wants. Why is he penetrating? She's giving him. He's reaching his climax. She's doing everything. He's like, shit, cool, no problem. I'm done. Selfish.
And the one thing that Clara says is that I'm usually the type of person that says whatever's in my head. And she was like, I haven't been doing that for Ryan. Good for you, because if Clara said what was in her head to Ryan, I promise you,
they wouldn't have a good relationship.
They wouldn't be together. Because she will run that joker down the river. I promise you, the things you could see by her face when he was like, we both making concessions, and you know, she was like,
you ain't making nothing for me, boy. She can't say that word. I'm about to say Negro, but she can't say that.
It's terrible. Like I was like, really like, Ryan, you selfish and so.
Hold on. I have a question. You know me, and I got a question for y'all.
He gotta be there. I can't believe. Okay.
Is she wrong for telling the girls that situation?
No.
Is she wrong? Because remember from day one, they was like, we don't want nobody to know our sex business.
I don't think she's wrong.
And so now she just told everybody.
We ain't got no sex business. We don't have no sex business. I'm doing everything but actual intercourse for you. So I'm not telling our sex business because I ain't getting none. That's what she said. God just had hopes. I had hope. Man, I was like, surely they got to be doing favors for each other. But it don't sound that way. Ryan, you are dead wrong. That is so wrong. So wrong. And I'm going to say this, and then we're going to go. This leads me to believe, too, that Ryan is a boring, he's a boring lover. He probably don't do that other stuff.
He might be a boring lover. You never know. Again, you said virgin. I'm not gonna say virgin. Maybe he's
I told you, very inexperienced.
Yeah.
Very inexperienced.
Very inexperienced. So that's where he may be at. We will see. Oh man, in the weeks to come, how this is affecting the relationship. I mean, it's already
bad.
affecting.
It's bad.
It's already, everything else looks like it's good except for this issue right here. This sex issue. I think it's bad. I think Ryan needs to get himself together. I can't wait until they really discuss this, whether it's a reunion or whatever. I want to see his face when they talk about this issue, because they need to bring this part up. Because there's... It's not right. It's not right. I would just say it's not right. It's not fair to her. It's not right to her. And again, Claire, stop doing it. Stop doing it. And maybe you'll get what you want. Hey, y'all leave a comment in the comment section below. Please let us know what you think. It's been very interesting. The episode's been very interesting. Not a lot of drama, but a lot of things that we can discuss and talk about. If we missed something, please leave a comment in the comment section so we can catch up on it maybe next week, or we'll catch up on it on this Sunday when we
know we didn't talk about the dogs and the dads.
Yeah, we didn't talk about the dogs and the dads. So when we talk about this Sunday with the U.S. Task Force on Little Black Books 91's channel, maybe we'll bring it up and mention it, that anything that we missed. But leave a comment in the comment section below. Also, thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching our reviews. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell notification. And please don't leave your spouse out there drying and you taking care of them and they're not taking care of you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.